Welcome to Footy Kickin Good. We are going through our Fremantle episode today. I'm Jamie Moraes, joined by my main man, the guy who idolised Fremantle great Chris Tarrant as a kid.
Oh, this is just rage bait at this point.
Michael Flynn. Big Tarrant guy though.
Actually, I'm a bigger Paul Medhurst fan.
Oh, that's a great throwback. I like that.
As a Pies fan, we've had plenty of good Freo players. We had Chris Payne.
Yeah, I forgot about me.
And that's probably it.
The three, the Holy Trinity. All right, let's just jump straight into our ins and outs. Let's see what we got here. Do you want to pull that up for me?
Yeah, why not?
See, Shea Bolton, he's pretty decent. Pretty decent in. We'll run in. We'll go through him a little bit more later on. Murphy Reid was probably the high draft pick this year.
Yeah, the one that wasn't he the guy that you didn't rate?
You have to bring that up.
I'm pretty sure out of the entire draft crop, you're like, man, whoever gets Murphy Reid's getting it done.
Why do you have to bring that up? All right, I told you that in confidence.
No, we're not going to judge him before he's played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give him some time to develop.
Yeah,
he'll probably prove me wrong.
I hope he proves you wrong.
I've been wrong on a number of occasions for our fans. I've been
known to be wrong.
Quinton Narkle as an SSP rating. He played some good patches as a sub for Port.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick. It's almost similar to like the Rat Atkins going to Port Adelaide.
Yeah,
it's like a bit of a I didn't really.
Do you think
that was possible?
Quinton Narkle, he could be the kind of type to maybe take over for Walters. I mean, maybe not as good as Walters is prime, but Walters is getting on in big in age.
Yeah, I think if Quinton Narkle's in Freo's best 23, but yeah, something's gone. there's an injury because I think on paper, and if you go back to the predictions episode, I actually have Freo winning their maiden flag. That was my big one of my big calls. I think on paper they're as stacked as anyone. So I'd be surprised to see Quinton Narkle do that.
I think he'd be a great sub.
Look, I don't know because there's guys out there, and we can get into it in a bit.
Yeah.
There's players that are not getting a game at Freo.
Yeah.
That I think are
You're probably right, because I could probably name about 4 or 5 as well.
Yeah.
As we look at the outs quickly, like Tom Emmett, Ethan Hughes, Ethan Stanley, Max Haberner, who I was a big fan of.
I think, honestly, all the D-listings are just dropping off a bit of dead weight for I don't see any of those guys anywhere near their best team.
It's probably a good thing because it probably suggests that they're stronger this year than they are.
And I think the delisting of Tabata pretty much speaks to the faith that they have in Tracy. Yes. So
honestly, I've seen footage of Tracy, and he
looks
beautiful.
That ripped, magnificent.
He's just reading the ball so beautifully coming to him in that. That is like
he's a player.
Star. Let's move on to our main topic. Or our first topic, and Shea Bolton.
The
Freo man.
I actually predicted him as the last week medalist.
I don't know.
Man, honestly, Freo fans deserve it. The thing is, they don't have an academy.
Yeah.
They've barely any father side.
I'd love to see
one this year.
Yeah.
But I think it would be great. I think Freo absolutely deserve it. I love pretty much the whole Freo side. I think they've got some great characters in that side.
Yeah.
Dick, Andy Brayshaw, that Fife, all these.
They're pretty strong all around. You can maybe argue the forward line isn't.
I think the small forward line still is an area that needs to be addressed.
Well, I mean, do you think? Well, where do you think Bolton's going to be playing?
Small forward.
Is he small forward?
I think that is where they need him.
Do you think he'll have runs in the midfield though?
Yeah. I think his best footy is actually been as a midfielder, but I think Freo are so stacked there that they'll probably play a majority going forward.
No, I agree. I think she's needed up forward just for that X factor.
The thing is, trying to besides Michael Walters, who's a very experienced player now, can you think of another electric small forward that they've had? That they're hard to find.
Valentine.
Yeah, but he basically predates Walters that.
Let me ask you. So you've got Tracy, Amiss, and Bolton in the forward line.
Yep.
Who do you send your best defender to? I know there's a bit of a height difference and stuff like that.
Your tallest, like your number one big defender, is Tracy.
Yeah.
100%. So, like, as a Collingwood fan, if I had to give you who we played, Darcy Moore goes Tracy, Jeremy Howe goes to a miss, and I don't even know how to match up on Bolton.
I almost think you'd be more worried about Bolton than you are in Miss, which means like Miss might be getting the third best defender, which means he could have a massive year. He might be the one where no one's really talking about as much as the other two, and he's the one that goes.
He started better than Tracy did. Like he first onto the scene. Probably unlucky to not be the rising star. I mean, he kicked a lot of goals in that first season. It's pretty rare. So yeah, I think he could be the one to slip under the guard this year. We've sat around for years saying Freo need to find the forward. How lucky they are to have these two big boys.
And it's just showing that they had great development, obviously, in the club with Tracy, because he's taken a few years like you normally expect, but he just looks so good.
He's a Victorian, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so they've done a good job to keep him.
Yeah.
I
really, he's probably my favourite Freo player, Tracy Owens.
My favourite player in the league.
I would honestly keep talking about him. I
love it because when you have faith in a player early and you're big on them, and then they repay the faith, you're like, that's my boy. It's making me look good.
One of the best nicknames, the Big Kahuna.
The Big Kahuna is he's the best nickname.
All right, moving on to point 2. So let's talk about, there's some news articles going around about Cozzy Pickett coming over to Freo next year. Looks like a done deal. Apparently he's been texting the Freo boys saying
nothing's done in this game.
Freo's gone ahead and signed an SSP. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head, but he is Pickett's cousin.
And I believe he's good mates with Darkpool too. So I feel like there's a little bit of some dealings going on here to get him across the line.
So you think Pickett's gone? Yep. I've probably ticked him off.
If I'm not saying definitely, but if I had to put money on either way, I'd go leading.
Yeah.
I think he is a definite need for Freo.
Yeah.
And if they had him this year with Bolton,
they tried.
Yeah.
I reckon Melbourne, because they had the whole Petrarca the kind of situation, I reckon they've gone, let us hold on to you guys for an extra year. You can trade 2 years in advance in terms of draft picks next year, and then they can bank up a little bit. Yeah. And I think Cozzy Pickett's got a lot of love for the Melbourne Football Club, so he's just going to honour them.
But, I mean, it's a bit sad for Melbourne that the 2 blokes from the one draft, Luke Jackson and Cozzy Pickett, end up back to Freo. Like it's not back to Freo.
Insane though. They picked up Harvey Langford and Xavier Lindsay this year, so they're doing well in their own right.
Yeah.
But the other big one, Chad Warner.
Honestly, you'd be stupid to not try and get him, but I feel like he's less of a need than Pickett.
Yeah, I feel like how do you fit him in? Like, do you push Hayden Young out of that midfield then?
I think they're already starting to push Hayden Young out. Like, I think forward and back, he could be a weapon.
Yeah.
And they have so many midfielders. Why not, give him a different job? And I think he's carrying a bit of an injury at the moment as well. He hasn't played in the intra-clubs.
I reckon Hayden Young would still be great off the half-back line.
Well, that's for a start. Yeah, honestly. But Warner, to me, I think he'd be a bit different to what they've got. Rachel's a bit one-pace, like sort of ball mag.
Yeah.
Sarong's kind of similar. They don't really have a player like Warner. Yeah. But, God, it would be,
I think about the idea of having that foursome, I guess, there with Pickett, Bolton, Tracy, and Miz, and I'm like, Jesus, that might go close to the best forward line in the competition.
I agree.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think in order to get Pickett done, you're probably looking at 2 first-rounders.
Yeah.
And Warner's probably more than that. It's a pipe dream. It's
salary caps as well.
But I think the fact that they're really hard into Pickett already, I think they're probably not going to go after one.
It feels a bit because I feel like Michael Walters is possibly on his last legs a little bit, and he hasn't been the same player for a while now. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had retired last year, but he's going another round.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing making a wide moves basically, and their defense looks really great.
Yeah.
Alex Pearce is captain. Let me quickly ask you, because he's a Tassie boy, I believe. His contract comes up at the end of, basically when Tassie comes into the competition.
I think he'd be too old by then. I think they might get him on board just to be like, we've got a leader from Tassie.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, like I was surprised that Alex Pearce was like, was it Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was a bit of a whipping boy for a while at Freo. Like they were fans were really I can remember reading comments saying like worst captain in the league, blah blah blah. Last year he absolutely turned it on. Like he had a career year last year. Like I thought he was spectacular. Yeah. So that defense has always been rock solid. Him and Ryan. Yeah.
Brendan Cox was an interesting one because it was injured last year, but he started the year up forward. And I was like, he's been such a good defender. Him and Ryan as a kind of protection.
There's another guy that I forget the name of that I was big on last year. He came into the side. I think he played a couple of games. Sort of, he reminds me of Michael Johnson. Was it Michael Johnson? Remember the tall Freo defender? I'm trying to think. I'll remember it by the end of the pod.
I'm trying to think now.
Yeah. Nah, it's gonna take too long. Oh, Sam something? No, sir.
We'll move on.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the coach, because I feel like there's a few coaches in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I feel like Longmuir is one of them. So can he take the side to the flag?
Well, I've backed him to do it.
Well, you have already.
But honestly, look, we've seen before in the past, like, I think Goodwin is an average coach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's one flag. Yeah. I think the list is that good that they could do it.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Longmuir fan. I think defensively, he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
They've struggled to really get that offense going.
Yeah.
And I think these days, like all the premiers recently have just been like absolute threats going forward. So therefore, is going to need to do something. So
I really like him. I know he's got a very different personality. He seems like a much more introverted kind of a personality.
Yeah.
But I just think he's just like one of those guys who's like his brain's always ticking.
Yeah.
Like he's always thinking about what's next, and he's very like maybe more of a numbers kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. I like that he's different from the other coaches in the league. But then you also see a lot more. One thing I don't see from him is like his interactions, where I see like Adam Kingsley like the players, and
he's not really that sort of guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I want to see them succeed with him.
The one thing I will say though is people forget that like last year they missed the finals, but they should have made the top four.
Yeah.
They had a couple injuries and they dropped all these games leading into the finals.
One of the problems is like
they were a legitimate top four side. Yeah. Like they had the credentials all year.
They're actually a really great team on the road.
Yeah.
But their home record was pretty
surprisingly poor. They had some really bad, like they lost to West Coast in the Derby, which that was a really, really shocking loss.
They did salty because the derbies normally go. It's just like there's always a better
one team dominates for a while, and Freo's been dominating the last, West Coast won heaps in a row before.
Yeah, exactly.
They also got smacked by Sydney at Optus.
Yeah, but then they went back
and then they won. Yeah. With that kick after the side.
If you look at the form,
it's a bit...
Freo seem to always win over there, and Sydney seem to win over at Optus.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one. But one of the few teams knock off Sydney as well last year. So shows their credentials. Did they... In my mind,
by the way, the defender Josh Draper.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that just popped into my head. Yeah, I think he's got potential as well.
He had some mistakes in him.
Yeah.
But you could see that he was learning every game.
He's got something about him that I think will hold him good stead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on to some individual accolades and Brownlow. I mean, anyone from Freo?
I think Sarong.
Sarong is always up there.
It's always up there. The only thing is, similar to a lot of clubs, Brayshaw taking it's...
But I can even see Brayshaw surpassing in terms of it's like he's... I don't think he gets as much love as Sarong, but I think he's equally as damaging.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else off the top of my head.
I don't think there's anyone. He's in the mix.
Coleman?
I would love to
do nuts. Yeah.
I'd love to go with Big Tracy.
And what I've noticed with the Coleman, you don't really see someone come out and just have a breakout in terms of winning the Coleman. Like, it's not like you just go from 40 to 65, something like that. It's always like you have to come close and then win it.
Yeah. Jesse Hogan had a big jump,
That's true.
but he's an experienced player.
Yeah,
it's rare to see a guy like
a young guy.
I think Franklin went from kicking in. Like, he literally like doubled or almost tripled his tally within like
2 years.
2 years. Like, that's very, very rare.
Yeah, crazy. And people forget with Buddy, though. He might have kicked 100 in 2008. I think he had about 200 shots.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think if a miss gets 100 shots on goal,
Yeah.
he's kicking 80. Like,
Yeah, he's a good point, actually.
I really like his set shot routine.
All Australians.
So we'll go with the ones that we think, you know, let's say the guys that haven't had the eye.
Yeah.
I think Clark.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was unlucky.
In the
I
fourth.
thought he was unlucky to not get it last year. I thought he was great, Jordan Clark. Like, you can tell a guy's a gun when every team is sending a guy to tag him in on the half line. Like, the last year was by far his best season. Yeah, I thought he was great.
Alex Pearce for me.
Yep.
I think deserves a spot down there.
Yeah.
He just needs to make it through the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he got through all of last year, it was a lock.
And what about the forwards? Do you think Bolton maybe?
Yeah, I've got Bolton written down.
Yeah.
I think, I think he definitely could get like a half forward spot.
Yeah.
But it's been a stiff competition.
Do you think sometimes like one of these players, like obviously highly touted, like I remember like Lockie Schultz obviously went over to Collingwood.
Yeah.
He went really high hopes and he kind of fell short. Do you think Bolton could possibly? I think there's enough cover there that if he did,
I think it's a different situation because he's coming from a really, really poor performing side in Richmond last year to like a contender. I think he's going to get a boost from just playing in a better team. Yeah. And that's no slight on Richmond. Like, he's won 2 flags with Richmond. So like, and he knows what it takes to like, it's a big jump up going from that Richmond side to Freo, I think. Yeah.
All right, time for the Freo Who Would You Rather game.
Nice.
Now, Flynn, I don't know how you're going to go with this.
Hey, I enjoy Freo.
Well, let's go. I probably should put some race in there. Let's put it. No, should have chucked on. The should have chucked the big Kahuna, but he's not in the game. I'm sorry.
Well, no, we can't put him in because I was going through the whole way.
That's true. All right. First two, Hayden Ballantyne or Ryan Crowley?
I'm going to go Valentine.
Ballantyne?
Yeah. I liked watching him.
Hayden Ballantyne or Stephen Hill?
Valentine.
Ballantyne? Yeah. Hayden Ballantyne or Michael Walters?
Walters. Sonny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Walters or Andy Brayshaw?
Walters.
Really? I would have thought you went Brayshaw.
Walters has been a chair.
Yeah, it's been. Yeah. Michael Walters or Caleb Salon?
We got Walters.
Walters? More runs on the board, do you reckon? All right. I think.
How many Australians he got? Like, this is how I think about Michael Walters.
Yeah.
Similar boat to Robbie Gray.
Yeah.
He's just a lovable guy and plays like he's just a joy to watch. Yeah. We plays crime. And as a Collingwood fan, he carved us up so many times that like I really respect him as a footballer.
Okay. Michael Walters or David Mundy?
Mundy. Yep. Nah, you got Mundy.
All right, here we come down the home stretch. David Mundy or Aaron Sanderland?
I'm going Mundy.
Mundy. David Mundy or Nat Five?
Five.
And here's to go the last one. Nat Five or Matthew Pav?
Pav is not just the best Freo player of all time. He's the greatest WA player of all time.
Right.
In terms of, I think, like, so obviously he's coming up against Judd and Cousins in these plays. Judd plays his whole career there, so that takes a little bit off him. Yeah. Cousins, amazing player. Yeah. But I think Pav, I think he's the only player to be All-Australian fullback and full forward.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he was a beast.
The two Brownlows in that fight doesn't sway you, like doesn't come close.
Now I love that fight, but Pav for me is like one of the most underrated players to ever play.
Do you think if Nat Fife wasn't injury prone in the later half of his career,
he would have been the best.
Yep,
history. I think Fife has like 3 or 4 seasons that are as good as any player. Yeah, but Pav, you look at Pav's stats.
Yeah.
The bloke was kicking like 50 every single year.
I was thinking this the other day, and like those guys, like, you know, your Lloyds and your Pats, like we talk about guys who are kicking like giant bags, like used to kick like, you know, 80 a year.
Yeah.
And these guys will probably retire and kicking 50 or 60 in their last year, which is crazy. You'd never let that play.
You would never let them like Barry Hall finished his career averaging the last like 10 games of his career and averaged 5 goals a game, and then he retired.
How do you do that?
No, honestly, game's changed. We love Matty Cup.
Yeah, Patters, I'm with you. I think you've sold me, yeah.
Yes.
All right, breakout or under the radar player? Who's you got?
You go first while
I'll give you my breakout first. I'm hoping this player, because I just love whenever he has a highlight. But Nathan O'Driscoll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, I can't remember which pocket it is. I think it's like the left-hand pocket. He just doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Doesn't miss. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
he's kicked at least 3 or 4 from there.
So this is what I mean about Quinton Narkle not being in the best 22.
You're right.
When you've got guys like this that can't consistently get a game.
Yeah, you're right.
So I've got 2 for you that I think are set for a breakout year.
Yeah.
One is Michael Frederick.
Okay.
Who I think has all of the potential. I saw he did a beautiful rundown chase in a Freo truck.
And he's the one who did the backflip, right?
Yes,
so
we love that.
I want to see more of that.
We love that, especially him doing it against West Coast. Sorry, West Coast. But I love Michael Frederick. I think he has, if he could just get it together, he could be a really good pressure forward. And my other one's Neil Erasmus.
Okay.
I'm a big Raptors of high draft pick. Hasn't really got a good crack at it yet.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Like, I didn't recognize him in the intro club. Yeah. It's number 28, and I feel like he's got a little bit bigger. He's beautiful kick. I saw a goal from 55, set shot, and I thought, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So he's the one to watch. I think this year he'll get more chances.
Well, then, I want to see him more of him then, especially. I think he's a good super coach value pick as well.
Yes. Who's the guy that hasn't had a game for the last couple of years from Gold Coast? Brody.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come back as well.
I honestly think, like, if you honestly can't fit him in the side, I think he'd be a great sub. Again, I've probably said about a few players now. But I think he's not even old. He's 25 or something. Yeah.
I feel like he still has so much.
It's such a hard midfield to crack into.
Yeah. And I feel like with Will Brody, can't play anywhere but midfield.
Yeah.
So he's almost in a position where it's like, well, if you can't break him in the midfield, you're not in the side.
I feel like sometimes, just the fact, I don't think he played a game last year. And sometimes, like, maybe it's not on the code out.
I got a tough question for you. I don't want to end it on it. But do you think if Fife's form really drops, like he's just not having an influence on the team, would you think it's possible that he could get dropped? For considering the amount of midfielders that can't get into that side?
No, I think at the very least,
some.
Again. The sub's a tactical kind of thing.
I didn't think Fife had a great year last year, and he hasn't really.
The problem actually, I don't actually think he could be sub. A lot of these injury-prone guys, you notice that, like, if you come in in the fourth quarter and you haven't got that proper warm-up, you're more prone to injuries again. Yeah. You almost have to play and then get subbed out early.
Yeah. Plus, you don't want your sub to get injured.
Yeah.
Especially if they come on in the first quarter. So, yeah.
But at the same time, if Freo are winning a flag, like you said, there's not much
we've seen so many teams where they've had an absolute champion at the moment where they're about to win a flag, they've gotten pushed out of the side, and it's so sad to see. But it was actually devastating. Yeah. As a Pies fan in 2010, we had Shane Retark and Lockyer and Presti all got pushed out of the team. It's just the way it goes.
It's like Robert Murphy missing for the Doggies, obviously injury base train, but still.
It just happens all the time.
Look, I didn't give my under the radar players as well. Brandon Walker.
Yeah.
In the back line. He's got
pace.
Yeah, and he's big. Yeah, he's a unit. And Brendan Cox already mentioned, but in the back line. I thought it was very good in the back line 2 years ago. And I reckon he should turn that together.
Freo's got tons of underrated players like that, because I feel like they're just underrated as a whole team. So they've got plenty to offer. Honestly, if the Pies don't win it this year, go Freo. Let's go.
Thank you for watching our Fremantle episode. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Michael Flynn. And go Freo 2025.
Go the Dockers.
Thanks, guys.